Salam alaikum. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Just got outside there in Sokongo now. Decided to make a video today. You know, I've been ghost. Been very busy in my life. You know, a lot of great things have happened. Many of you guys have contacted me, Manitata, Yayas, and people have emailed me, checking up on me, how are my videos, when I'm gonna get on live, and I appreciate it. You know, I'm very appreciated. I have to go ghost because I have responsibilities. You know, take care of the family. You know, I have many family over, mother and mothers-in-laws and fathers-in-laws, uncles, cousins, a bunch of people came over at the house. And, you know, cooking, cleaning, all of this stuff. But things have died down, right? Things have died down, and now I have a little bit extra time where I can do videos, you know. Today's video is going to be about, this is a tata who is soon going to become a tata nganga. You know, and he asked me, I don't know if I should say his name or not, but he asked me if once he becomes or receives an Nkisi, how do we interact with it? He was asking me that. How do we interact with that Nkisi? From my standpoint, right? And I told him that I'll do a video about it when I get a chance a while back, and I never did. So I'll go ahead and make this video about that. That is very important for us to understand that. We have to understand this. All practices within Nkisi Malongo or Palo Mayombe, how is referred, right? Everything that we do in that room comes from concepts. And even within the physical realm, within actual occupations and profession, which is Nkisi Malongo, right? Being a priest and working it is a traditional healer, is looked as an occupation. But within other occupations, within the physical realm, like an electrician, a lawyer, a doctor, cardiovascular surgeon, any of these things, there's concepts, and then they took it out to practice. So what does that mean, right? An electrician had to go to school, had to learn from somebody, an apprentice or something, about how electricity works, Ohm's laws, this, that, resistors, transistors, transformers, all of these things, conductors, all of this stuff, of how electricity is functioning. A nurse, same thing. The process of how the body works, how to do CPR, all of these things, and why it works, right? Lawyer, he has to understand the concept of the law and the processes of the law and how they're in place and how they change over time and all of this stuff. A doctor or a surgeon, right? They have to understand anatomy within the fullest that they can. They have to know everything about the body and how it gets affected within medicine, etc., etc. All of these things. That they have to understand concepts. That most of the time is the book work, right? Books. It comes from books or teachers, where they teach you the concepts of how things are functioning, of how they used to be done in the past, and that information obviously gets passed down from generation to generation, of profession to profession, and it'll get better and better as technology and things go. But most of all things are concepts of how things are functioning, how the body functions, how the electricity functions, etc., etc., etc. And then the practice is actually doing the surgery, changing the wires or changing light bulbs, whatever you do within connecting power lines, etc., etc. You see that? In Palo, it's the same thing. It's the same thing within Palo. We have to understand the concepts, and then we can truly understand how we're practicing and why we're doing things. Before we're even interacting or any of that, I want to go ahead and get out the way that when you're in Engayo or Pino Nuevo, Engayo, or Tata Nkisi or Yaya Nkisi that have not received anything, you're just initiated and you have not received nothing. You have no receptacle, or no Nfumbe, no spirit, nothing. You have not received no Nkuyu, no Mpaka, no Kinikini, no Nkisi at all, any type, way, or shape, or form, right? You're at a certain level, right? This is the level for you to observe your Godfather and see how he interacts with these Nkisis, and ask every single question that you can. And the most predominant question you should be asking is why? Why did you do that, Padrino? What's the concept behind it? Padrino, why do you do this? Why do you use this? Why do you use why? Why? And he has to fill you in, because it's giving you the concepts of why he's doing it. Why? You see that? So the concept is very important. Now, once you have made the decision to receive an Nkisi of any way, shape, or form, you're at a different caliber, right? If you're a Pino Nuevo, an Engello, Tata Nkisi, or Yaya Nkisi, right, and have not received any Nkisi, any Nkuyo, anything at all, nothing, you know, you're not forced to practice this tradition. You know, you can go to Ifa, go to La Ocha, go to other traditions, spiritualism, Buddhism, Christianity, whatever you want to do, you can do it. There's no true agreements, right? You can stop practicing Paulo in its totality. I can guarantee you there's no harm to be done, because you have not made a true agreement with an Mfumba, and you're independent. Your Godfathers and Nkisi will always take care of you, and that's it. You know, they don't keep you hostage. And not everybody is going to be a priest with Paulo or Nkisi Malonga, right? Or many people call it Paulo Mayombe. Not everybody. Everybody is not going to burn their eyebrows, right, studying, live inside their godparents' house, and dedicate themselves to this. Not everybody. It's the truth. You know, we have to sit here and be honest with each other. So for those people, right, what you need to be looking for, the ones that don't want to become priest, what you need to be looking for, right, is a good godparent that will always assist you, will always help you, will always guide you, right, within your life and in that community that you're initiated under. Now, this video is intended for the ones who are the priest, the ones who are going to be independent from their godparents, the ones who are going to interact with Nkisi. You get me? The ones who are going to have their own Nkisi and going to interact with it. This is the video it's about, right? Because that's the step that Tata, his name is William, is about to receive his fundamento, and he's asking me that he bought the book and all of that from my perspective on a personal level, and I told him I'll do a video. So now, once you make that decision, right, to become a priest, you're at a different caliber. You're at a different caliber. And we have to understand this, right? We have to understand this. Our decisions if you're initiated or not, if you're an atheist or Christian, it don't matter what you are. Our decisions affect our lives. That's simple, right? Our decisions affect our lives. And most people do not think that they get initiated into Paulo, and they do not think that. They don't think that their decisions are valuable. And they're very much valuable. This tradition, when you become a priest and you receive any Nkisi or any type, is not call up a little bottle and pull out a genie and tell it, yo, 3 wishes, and it solves everything out. It does not function like that. We have to understand that our decisions, even outside of Paulo, have effects in our lives, have effects within processes that make up our lives. Because everything in this realm happens because of a process. There are processes. Nothing just appears. Everything had a cause and effect. Cause and effect was a chain which makes a process. This conversation was a process. You getting into this was a process. Getting into this video, there was a process. This water bottle that I have here, there was a process for it to get here. Everything that we're looking at, even ourselves, that we were in conception, birth, mature, and we will pass away and die one day, is a process. Now, our decisions and others' decisions, right, affect this process. Whether we speed things up or we slow them down. For you to truly understand these concepts within depth, I got a bunch of books here. Let me look. This one, right? African Cosmology, the Bantu Congo Principles of Life and Living by Kimboninde Kiabuseki Fukiao. All priests, at least within Palo or in Nkisi Malongo, right? At least within Nkisi Malongo, also known as Palo Mayombe, Palo Monte, must read this book, must understand the process and the cycles of life, because it's here. It's here. Everything's here. And I recommend not just Nkisi Malongo, I recommend Bawalaos, people within Ifa, priests within Ifa, Yanifas, everybody within Ifa, everybody within La Ocha, within any spiritual practice, you must read this book. You must. Or any of these traditions, you must read this book. And even if you're not initiated or anything, you must read this book. It will help you out in life to become more aware and understand how life is functioning. All of his books are amazing, but this is the primary one because it explains the concepts. And then when you go inside those rooms or you go to other houses, you're going to understand why they're doing things. I see other tatas from other lineage do different things. They're using the same concept in different ways. We're not going to get too much in depth of that. We're speaking about interacting with the Nkisi. But interacting with the Nkisi, we got to understand that concept, that there's a process to things. Things just don't happen. So once you made the decision to receive that Nkisi and introduce it into your life, you must know how to introduce it and how to interact with it. Outside, right? Outside of this tradition or any of this initiation, I just said it earlier, our decisions deliberately create our reality. Our decisions affect the natural processes that are going on. When we go inside the Nsokongo, when we go out searching for a priest or any of these things, they're either working with the natural order of things, right? Affecting that process within its natural state, or hindering it, or going against the natural process, which can speed things up very fast or slow them so much down that it causes damage. It all depends on these perspectives, but that's what we're doing. Let me see, how can I put this into words also? Once you receive something, right? Something in Nkuyu, in Paga, any form, way, shape, or form of an Nkisi. And you're gonna go interact with the Nkisi. We have to understand that there's only two main avenues, two possibilities, two ways that you might open that door, pick up those chamalongos, or interact with that Nkisi. Two ways. The other ones that are missing are specific scenarios, but these are the two main ones. Either you're going there well defined within a decision, saying that you have made a decision already and you're asking assistance from them. That's it. Or the other one, on the other hand, you have come to a crossroads and you don't know what decision to make. And you go in there to throw the ball in their court, to ask them to make the decision, and you abide by that decision. Those are the only two main possibilities. The other stuff is like if your life is upside down, a bunch of weird things are happening, and you're a priest. It's a whole different other ballgame. You know, we're talking about spiritual warfare, other stuff that have nothing to do with that. Other scenarios. But these are the primary two of a priest going in there to interact with his Nkisi, or a patient to go there to interact with his Nkisi, right? But we're speaking about with the priest. Let's stay within people who've received these things. Those are the only two ways, right, that you're going to go in there to speak to those Mfumbas. All right, other ones, gratitude, this, that, whatever. But those are the two main ones that you're going to use them, that you're going to interact with them. And that on that level. You see, if you do not go in there and make decisions inside that room, you can still make decisions outside the room. As a mature adult within our society, your decisions have effect in your life. Most of your problems in our situations, 92% of them, most of the time, has to do with you, within our decisions. Now, when we go in that room and we make our problems their problems, either by either or, right? Us going in there will define one of the decisions for them to have an effect, or we come to a crossroads and we don't know what decision to make in our lives. We're stuck, and they'll make us define, right? They'll define that decision for us. That's the same thing within the living realm. It's the same exact thing that happens within the living realm, but just with an elder, with a good friend, with an uncle, a brother, a father, a grandparent, a mentor, right? Let's say, I'm gonna give myself like Pops. Let me say like, hey Pops, I wanna buy this car. You can go to your elder, right? Hey Pops, I wanna buy this car. For example, let me make it a little example. I wanna buy this car, Pops. Can you co-sign for me? Can you come with me to facilitate buying the car? Because you know a little bit more about mechanics. But you have made the decision that you want that specific car. You see that? That's not the same way than going to that elder or your Pops, right? Or your father, and tell him, hey Pops, I don't know if I should get this car or not. What do you think? You see, when you do that, you're making him influence that decision, making him say yes or no. Which is the same way, right? Mirror image within the Nkisi room. Either you're going in there well-defined within decisions, or you're not, and they're going to define them for you. They're going to make the decision based on what they see is best for you. And most of the time, it goes within the natural order of things. So now let's get into that. What is the natural order of things and how they're happening? And what is to go against that? I have to give examples so you guys can truly understand. And I wrote this in one of my books, Through the Eyes of a Spirit, which is soon to come out. And I always use examples so people can understand, because these are real scenarios that have happened. Let's say a priest wants to obtain a house. Let's say that he wants to obtain a house. So he goes to the Nkisi. Let's say even before he goes to the Nkisi, can the priest obtain the house by himself? No spiritual work, no consultation, nothing with his Nkisis. Can he buy it himself? Yes. Many people in this living realm buy houses every day. Some people even buy them so much that they flip them and they sell them and they live off of that. So it's possible. You see that? It's possible, right? For that to happen. Why go into the spirit realm, right? Why take it to the Nkisi? Why take it to the Nsokongo? Because you want guarantee, because you want guidance, because you want to make sure you don't get screwed over, in other words. If you go there well-defined, you see that? I want to buy this house. I want to get a house by the end of this year. I want that. And you well-defined within that decision. I'm going to get a house. You see, you're not going to be asking the Nkisis or the Mfumbas there, hey, should I get this house? Should I not? This and that. Should I buy the house or buy a house, or should I not buy a house? You're not asking that. You're going to be telling it, I want a house. What do we need? What can you do to help me out? See, what can you do to facilitate me obtaining a house? And that's when the priest is making the decisions either to work according to the natural order or not to. And it has to do with time and the processes. Because by itself, him not using the Nkisi, he's going according to the natural order of things. If he doesn't take it to the Nkisi room at all, not one bit, he does it by himself. What's the natural order? It's always according to what? His circumstance. Either his financial status, which is if his credit's good, right? If he has savings, can he give a down payment? Does he have a VA loan? Is he a first-time home buyer? Is he in a bankruptcy? All of these factors will depend on how fast can he obtain this house or not, right? To get a loan. And there's different types of loan. There's different processes for that. So you see, all of these things are factors for him to obtain this house. A priest or a regular person, right? Natural process of doing things. A natural process. That simple. Natural process. Go to the bank, get the loan. They're going to look at all these things, debt to income ratios. They're going to look at consistency within paycheck, within your job. They're going to look at your credit, obviously. They're going to look at the taxes. They're going to look at the income within the house, right? Debt to income ratio is that. The income within the house, how many people, how much debt you have, all of that stuff. How much they'll preview for the loan. Then you go get the realtors, see the houses, all of that stuff, the prices, all of that stuff. And then closing costs, right? Sign the paperwork, the closing costs, insurances, all of these things. Natural process. This process can take either 4 years, 5 years, if you're far away from your financial goals and stuff. Or it can take 6 months. It can take 3 months. Etc., etc., etc. And you might not understand that our decisions are always functioning or affecting. In reality is output. Is outputting processes or affecting processes within our lives. Because if somebody starts to save up money now, when they're very young, when they're 25, 30, or whenever, they're like, oh, I'm married and I want to buy a house. They have all the money. They never even thought about a house, but now they have it. You see, because their mind wasn't there, but they were just worried about something else. And that facilitated a process. But we're not going to get so much in there with that. That's decisions. We're talking about the natural order of things. That time frame for them to buy the house, see, for them to buy the house depends on the circumstances. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a natural process based on their circumstances. Now, let's say this priest or this person wants to go to the Nkisi. They go to the Nkisi and they can choose to work according to the natural order of things, which means it's still going to be somewhat the same process, but we can bend it to its will, to make those interest rate a little bit lower, to find a very good realtor who maybe cares or is well connected and has more properties and better prices. The closing costs, right? Instead of him having to pay that, the one who's selling the house pays that and then their end. You see that? So these things, the Mfumbe, right, can influence. It can influence to an extent. But he's working towards the natural order of things, making sure that the paperwork and all of this stuff goes smoothly, the fastest that it can within the natural order of things. You see, when we do medicine. And then obviously that's the one way of doing that. We do the medicine for it, and the Mfumbe will work according to the natural order of that. Close to it, right? Not so much havoc or change or any of that will happen. He'll just push the dominoes where they need to fit in certain puzzle pieces that need to be put in. Let's speak figuratively like that, to complete that picture. Now let's say if the priest or the patient wants to work wants to work against the natural order of things. If they want to work against it, that would be like, right? He comes or the priest goes to the Nkisi and tells her, hey, I want a house now, as soon as possible, at whatever it costs, and I don't care. The Mfumbe does not care about what he can and cannot do and this, unless there's certain treaties, right? The treaties can limit him with an extent. But most of the time, most people don't have it like that, right? They demand it, they want it. This is what I need. I don't care what you need to do to facilitate what I want, what the desired outcome is. And most of the time that's working against the natural process of things. You want it as fast as possible, right? The faster that you obtain things, the less it is going within the natural order of things. And the more havoc most of the time it causes. Listen to that. So the Nkisi, what is it going to do? Particularly the Mfumbe, what is it going to do, right? He's going to take the circumstances of that person or the priest, whoever's in front of him that they did the medicine for, and he's going to look at the circumstances. If he says, oh, this person has a mother or a grandmother or a spouse, life insurances, or a house and a will. He's gonna create, right, habit. He can cause death for those people, so that person can obtain that money or those property in a faster way. If it was gonna take a year and a half or a year and 2 months or whatever, or 6 months, 8 months, depending on the circumstances, now he facilitated, he made it faster. But what did it cost? When that parent or that spouse or that grandparent would have lived 20 more years or 30 more years. If it was a spouse, they're going to live 40, 50, 60. Think about that. Now you don't have a mother for your kids. You don't have this. Think about all of these things. Then Fuma's not going to care. All he cares about is your causes and effect and your decisions, because you're the one reaping. You're the one doing the stuff. He's the one affecting stuff at the end of the day. So you have to be very careful. Obviously, agreements and treaties of the Nkisi, that's why we do these things. Receiving them, because these things are serious. Now, obviously, people ask me, does it always have to happen like that? No, it don't always have to happen like that, because some people don't have that in their circumstance, right? So the Nkisi will find other ways. Other ways might be by suing, right? A person getting in an accident so he can be able to sue. I have no clue, infinite amount of ways that I can make up so many ways, from facilitating, right? Bringing somebody that sells illicit things so you can obtain money really fast. This different processes. That's the only thing I can say. A process will speed up. If it was going to take you to buy this house within the natural order of doing things, in a year and a half, if you stay consistent within your goal, it would have took you that long. Now you went to the Nkisi and you're told to work against it. He's going to find for you to make decisions faster to obtain it, but it can cost you other things. So you have to be very careful. That's what's truly happening. You have to be careful within all these processes that are happening of this information. And I remember my godfather, when I was young, he told me this, right? My godfather told me this when I was a boy. He said, siempre trabaja por abajo. Always work por abajo. What he was trying to say, in the moment, I didn't understand what the heck he meant by that. I didn't understand none of that. I just understood. I remember that very clearly. I'm in the room with him. He said, siempre empieza por abajo. He was referring to always work within the natural order of things. And then you bump up, bump up, bump up. You see that? Because that's how true medicine is. Little bits of it, or precise things that you know that are going to have effects. Because if you want different outcomes, stronger medicine, yes, you'll get the same outcome, but you'll have side effects, a lot of side effects. And I'll be honest with you guys. When I was younger, my medicine was done like that. Was done always almost working against the natural order of things. The faster I did it, the better. And I always seen effects fast. But I'm going to be honest, I would see different around my life. I would see different side effects all over the place. But I was naive. But that does not keep me innocent from reaping, right? From reaping and being responsible for those effects in my life and the effects they had on others. Because I'm still responsible for that. Even que ellos dicen, Dios perdona al inocente. It don't matter. That don't matter. Negligence, you still will pay for. And found guilty because of negligence. But you still have to pay for that. And in this tradition, there cannot be room for any of that. At least within our lineages, there cannot be room as a priest for negligence. For not understanding how to interact with the Nkisi properly at all. There's no room for that, because we have to understand that we are working, or let me use the right word, influencing other people's lives. Husbands, daughters, sons, spouses, grandparents, everybody. And as priests, we must understand that. I might do another video. After this one, I might post another one. Because I had a good friend of mine, which he's young, not very young, but he's young. And he looked very promising that he might be a priest in the future also. And we had a talk not too long ago about the requirements of a priest. All priests should have this, and I think I'll get into that. So people can understand the stuff when you're a priest, at least, or working, your house is opened up. And but we have to understand that this stuff is serious. When you interact with that Nkisi, and when you decide to take your issues inside that room, you're gonna be responsible for the outcomes of it. And I'm always gonna say this: work within the natural order of things. I'm gonna give you guys that advice. Trabajen siempre por abajo. Empiecen por abajo. There's no need to do very extremely strong medicine when it's just gonna disbalance things. And I'm gonna say this also, and this is my opinion. I feel like Ifa and Laocha, because many people say this, everybody says this in reality. Why is Paulo so fast and Ifa and Laocha are a little bit slower? It's not that Paulo is fast, and it's not that Ifa and Laocha are slower. No. I feel like Ifa and Laocha, they always work towards the natural order of things. They work for harmony and balanced. And in Paulo, us, the priest, the patient, we make the decisions and reap them. That's the truth. I feel that. We choose whether we want to work accordingly or not accordingly within these processes. Ifa and Laocha, I feel like they always abide by harmony and balance towards situations. Work towards the natural order of stuff. And Paulo, obviously not that. We choose. But it's very important for us within any of these traditions, Ifa, Laocha, Paulo, or any of that, to understand that it's very serious when we're interacting with any of these spiritual receptacles, orishas, or whatever, any orisha, sign, or odum, any of those stuff, and any of these things, any of it, we're influencing people's lives. Same as in Paulo, heavy duty in Paulo, we're influencing people's lives. And if we don't take it serious, we can harm them, their family, or ourselves. So always remember that. Take your time. Don't bite more than you can chew. Hopefully you guys don't make the mistakes that I made. Do not make the mistakes that I've made. A lot of you guys see me up here. Many of you call me very knowledgeable, all this stuff. You guys have no clue or idea the mistakes that I have made. And that's why I always say I have failed my way to success. In reality, that's all in life, right? Sin obstáculo no hay éxito. Everybody knows that. But I haven't made very tremendous mistakes, not heavy duty ones, but I made some, and I've learned from them. And that's what makes us wiser and more knowledgeable. But learn from me. At least learn from me and learn from all the priests. And I'm gonna also say this: all those priests within all these traditions who are upholding and carrying and representing the traditions in a positive way, I thank you. I thank you. Because when all of you guys receiving Nkisis and all of this stuff, you're representing not my lineage, but you're representing my tradition. And if, you make a fool of yourself, you make me a fool. Right? You take my tradition, our tradition. Whoever's here also who's watching this, believe me, is our tradition. So that's why we must become more conscious, more serious, more respectable, more united. Secrets are always going to be secrets within Linaje. Everybody knows that. But respect should be all across within all Linajes. That's something very fundamental. within us beings. You know how there's not going to be respect. But I'm going to go ahead and do the other video. I'm going to go ahead and leave you guys with this video. In Singa Tikanda Ninga Kato Bukako, right? A saying within Kimondende's book, which truly means the biogenetic rope of the community should never be cut. It should be reinforced. And I always say, uphold our traditions by making the right decisions for our traditions. Salam alaikum. Malaikum salam.